I don't drink coffee, but I try to get myself a hot cup of Pam Grier every damn day. What it do, brothers and sisters? This is So Big Movies, and welcome to the Blaxploitation Hour, and whoo! We got a classic on our hands, and this was one of those forbidden movies that I was just not allowed to see because it had some tiggle bitties. But there were three reasons why I could not get this movie out of my head. Pam Grier and that headshot.
This is the end of your rotten life, you motherfucking dope pusher.
I did say two reasons, right? Coffee, the anti-drug blaxploitation revenge thriller, drives a feminist black power fist up the ass of any unfortunate dope pusher who is pushing that smack on the streets. The 1973 film exploded onto the scene, establishing Pam Grier as the premier female star of the genre. The movie was the third collaboration between Grier and famed exploitation maestro Jack Hill, who previously collaborated on The Big Dollhouse and The Big Birdcage, which also starred Grier. They would later collaborate on the game-changing Foxy Brown 1 year later, so whatever ecstasy that Hill and Grier was on in the 1970s was the primo shit. The story, which follows Nurse by day, or night I guess, and Vigilante by night, or day sometimes, the amazingly named flower child Coffin, who seeks violent revenge against the heroin pushers responsible for her younger sister's addiction, was produced and distributed by, of course, American International Pictures, and was a major hit, making initial box office receipts of $4 million on a budget of $500,000. And this was one of the first movies I watched as a kid, and it tickled all of my sweet spots. As a young boy, as someone who is consuming all things movies, as someone who dug watching a woman kick ass and do her thing, as someone who is watching something he clearly should not have, as a Jamaican.
You're the lady from Jamaica who called me.
That I am, man. And I can see that you're not at all disappointed, of course.
I know this movie inside and out. Everything from that headshot to that wild catfight brawl between Coffee and the sex workers to George. Come on, man. Crazy enough, Coffee almost didn't exist, and I might be talking to you about Cleopatra Jones, which we will get to. According to Hill, the project began when AIP's head of production, Larry Gordon, lost the rights to Cleopatra Jones after making a handshake deal with the producers. Gordon, probably in a coke-induced panic from potentially losing a major blaxploitation property, would approach Hill to quickly make a movie about an African-American woman's revenge in order to beat Cleopatra Jones to the punch and release it first. The film ended up earning more money than Cleopatra Jones, which probably gave Larry Gordon a coke-induced panic attack. Coffee is notable in its depiction of a strong black female lead, something rare in the genre at the time, and also in its then unfashionable anti-drug message. And this movie is off and running when Junkie Grover, probably suffering from PTSD from what Nurse Ratched did to McMurphy, pops into the obligatory blaxploitation nightclub scene to find the pusher Sugar Man to offer him a piece of ass.
A piece of what? Man, what you talking about? Look over there. I got plenty of tail. I even got white tail.
Grover introduces Sugar Man to, look, when I was a young boy, there were four factors that caused my sexual awakening. Linda Carter as Wonder Woman and Pam Grier as Coffee. And you could see why.
Anything you want, big man.
Oh, Jesus.
My thoughts exactly, Sugar Man. And that plays us into the amazing title. The music for Coffee was composed by the incomparable Roy Ayers, godfather of neo-soul, pioneer of jazz funk, and a major figure in the acid jazz movement. Ayers, one of the most sampled artists in hip-hop, gave us some of the most iconic music in blaxploitation in this film alone, including one of the greatest pimp theme songs of all time. And once we get through our credits, we get into this movie proper, with Coffee blowing Sugar Man's fucking head off and forcing Grover to OD.
Maybe it will and maybe it won't. But if it do, you're gonna fly through them pearly gates with the biggest fucking smile St. Peter ever seen.
This was a new kind of vigilante movie. A year before Charles Bronson would switch careers from architect to mass murderer to clean up New York City, we would have Pam Grier going after everyone in the dope chain of command, from pirates to politicians to Sid fucking Haig. What has always endeared me to Coffee as a character is that she is just a regular person, a nurse, who just got pushed too far. I always remember that ending scene where Coffee explains her murderous rampage, basically going off like a dreamlike blur.
I don't know how I did it. It seems like I'm in a dream. And I'm still in this dream, Howard.
But Coffee has wants and desires like anyone else. She pines for her politician boyfriend, Brunswick, played by perennial TV character actor Booker Bradshaw, and that ridiculous afro. While her cop buddy, Officer Carter, played by William David Elliott of Uptight and Night of the Lepus, pines for her. And even as a teen watching this movie, I was like, Coffee, Carter is the better man for you. Every time I watched a scene with Brunswick, I always wanted to take a shower. But that is a testament to both actors and how they embody different facets of strong black masculinity, also infiltrating white spaces to gain power. Carter in law enforcement and Brunswick in politics. That final monologue Brunswick gives at the end of the film with a revenge-exhausted Coffee, almost letting him get away with it, was one of the first instances in cinema I remember a black man talking about not only the tactic of infiltrating politics to make change from the inside out, but how power structures actually work. Just because you get rid of the white dope dealers doesn't mean you've gotten rid of the dope game. And if there are still junkies around, anyone of any race is going to try to exploit them. And to a young teenager watching this for the first time, that was a fucking sobering thought. Also, once that white girl came down the stairs, I was like, nah, Coffee, spray this fool. But fuck all that. There are four things this movie is remembered for. Pam Grier herself, Sid Haig as Omar, the henchman for the main villain, who I still think is one of the cruelest villains in all of movies, and yes,
George.
the madness of King Motherfucking George, played by Robert Dupuis, is one of the defining movie pimps of the blaxploitation era. A total over-the-top homeboy who gives some of the best reaction shots in the entire movie. Dupuis' claim to fame isn't only Coffee, as he played the amazing Sergeant Warren Reed in the RoboCop movies. And while George was awesome in this movie, it was his absolutely gnarly death that gave me nightmares as a black child and ideas as a horror hound. The violence in this movie is visceral and brutal, even for an exploitation movie of the 1970s. Despite its popularity, Coffee initially received mixed reviews, with Siskel and Ebert famously disagreeing over Grier's talent and Siskel giving the film 0 stars. Funny enough, it is Pam Grier's presence that has helped propel Coffee into its spot as one of the most influential and memorable nuggets of the genre, with the film being a favorite of Quentin Tarantino's and has garnered acclaim and is considered groundbreaking for its portrayal of a strong black female protagonist. A sequel, Burn Coffee Burn, was initially planned, but that was scrapped and retrofitted into Foxy Brown, which is okay with me. And here is how I would rate Coffee. Story: 4 out of 5 black power fists. Coffee is a compelling story of a normal person who goes vigilante a full year before Paul Kersey would do so, while also delving into black politics. Filmmaking, 3.5 out of 5 Black Power fists. Coffee isn't the most revolutionary movie when it comes to filmmaking, but Jack Hill knows what he is doing behind the camera, and the movie is able to provide some truly shocking moments of gore along with great moments of pathos. Soundtrack, 4 out of 5 Black Power fists. Man, that Roy Ayers soundtrack is funky as fuck, with the genre-defining and impossible to forget Coffee is the Color and King George theme songs. Black Power, 4.5 out of 5 Black Power fists. Coffee is a one-woman feminist Black Power vigilante, a force of nature who uses her sexual prowess and plain violence to get the job done. But the film also gets into relevant themes of taking power in influential spaces. Negative stereotypes, 3 out of 5 Black Power fists. The majority of the negative stereotypes in this movie really belongs to King George, as Coffee, Carter, and Brunswick are examples of strong, intelligent Black individuals with their own goals and aspirations. Influence, 4.5 out of 5 Black Power fists. Come on, this is Coffee. This shot Pam Grier into superstardom and opened the door to an even more iconic film in Foxy Brown. If you know Blaxploitation, you know Coffee. Overall fun factor, 4.5 out of 5 Black Power fists. This movie got titties, exploding heads, Sid Haig, mangled bodies dragged by cars, amazing cat fights, an amazing score, and Pam motherfucking Grier. If you don't think this movie is fun, check your pulse. What did you think of Coffee? Share your thoughts, leave your comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can get notifications as well. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care.